So hello and welcome to today's video. So now that GTA 6 has officially been announced, the community have been very hard at work at bringing out their own thoughts and theories and analysis to the table. Who they think the actors are, is this Lucia, is this a main character, what's returning, you get the idea. But I'm not here to give my thoughts on it. Instead, we're going to go back to 2011, a much simpler time, a time before 90% of GTA Online players were even born, and revisit the first ever GTA 5 trailer and take a look at some theories and analysis that were being thrown around and see just how accurate the community was back then. So GTA 6's trailer is very open on who our protagonist is. It's mostly Lucia, at least as I'm making this video, Jason hasn't actually been named outside of the leaks. So let's start off by talking about the GTA 5 protagonist theories. The first thing we hear is,
"Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather."
And throughout the trailer we see this man multiple times and the same voiceover. And many people correctly assumed that this was going to be our main protagonist. A casting call was leaked way before the trailer even dropped, and his name was determined to have been Albert De Silva, not Michael DeSanta. So, in traditional GTA fanbase fashion, quite a few people got down to making theories on who this Albert voice actor was. Quite a few people assumed it might have been Terence Rotolo. You may know him best as the voice of Frank West from the theorizing series, making his debut in the GTA series. There is a very slight, and I do mean a slight similarity in the voice, but people point out it couldn't have been TJ because his voice sounded older, and given that Dead Rising 2 Off the Record had released that same year, in fact it dropped a month before the GTA 5 trailer, it wasn't likely to be him. For some really weird reason, quite a few people thought it was Ray Liotta making a return to the GTA series because the protagonist looked like Tommy Vercetti from the side. The protagonist theories weren't actually around for that long, because there was an actor, Jimmy Tanaka, who actually name dropped Ned Luke as the voice of this protagonist in GTA 5. So after Ned Luke was name dropped, it didn't take long for the community to track him down. Quite a few people were fans of Law & Order, for example, and some were quick to very notice the guy from the trailer looked very similar to him in appearance, same head shape and same voice, and quickly tracked down a reel of Ned's, and it convinced most of the community that it must have been him. Everything just matched up, the hairline, the nose shape, the facial structure, it just looked a lot like him. There were a small group of people who still didn't believe Ned was voicing Albert. The main counter-argument to this being that the actors for the likes of Nico Bellic, of course played by Michael Hollick, and Luis Lopez, voiced by Mario De Leon, didn't look that similar to the characters they played. But some of the more eagle-eyed hunters noticed that Rockstar really do pick a lot of actors from the Law & Order series to play their main characters. Many men who voiced their protagonists actually did have roles in that prior. Michael Hollick, Nico, Dorian Masick, Vic Vance, Danny Mastorio Giorgio, Tony from Liberty City Stories, Jerry Rosenthal, Jimmy from Bully, and Mario De Leon, Luis Lopez, all had roles in Law & Order. In fact, after GTA 5 release, people went through the cast and found many actors Rockstar had hired all had roles in Law & Order as well. These include the actors of Trevor, Dave, and Tracy. So if you want to know who's starring in GTA 6, just go through a cast of Law & Order, you'll probably find about 10 of them on there. Overall, the theories on who was playing this Albert De Silva turned out to be pretty legit overall. So one thing Rockstar rarely, if ever, do is give a synopsis of the plot in their first trailer. Usually the first trailers are more of a teaser per se, they don't really give you a hint on what to expect in the main story. They're usually so far away from the final product, there's not really much to go off in terms of possible plots and storylines. But you know how it is, the community tried their hand at guessing what the GTA 5 story was going to be. A lot of people initially thought the protagonist was going to be an ex-mob boss or somehow affiliated with the Mafia. Obviously retired going off the trailer script, which to be fair it does kind of feel like that. The lines like "why did I move here, I thought I'd be a dad like all the other dads," and the "you know how it is" lines really do feel like it's about an ex-mob boss who wants out of the life before being dragged into it against his own will. Also known as pretty much every single plot of the Yakuza series. In fact, there were even rumours that Albert was from a Vice City crime family. I don't even know where that rumour started, I think that was more of a fan theory rather than basing something off a leak, but yeah. And given how pretty much every single GTA story revolves around the Mafia in some way, it was a pretty plausible theory, as that plotline does sound like something Rockstar would have came up with. So there were two parts of the trailer that had a sole NPC as the main focus, which led many to believe that these characters had big roles. The first one being this homeless guy holding up a sign for money, and many people thought this might have been Jerry from GTA 4. He was a very minor character whose only real role on screen was finding those diamonds that Nico, Johnny and Luis were fighting over. People noted that these two characters looked quite similar and might have hinted the GTA 4 Diamond storyline might have tied into GTA 5 as well. Jerry would return, play a bigger role, and some even went ahead and tied it to the retired mob boss being dragged back into the life storyline too. One part of the trailer also showed the police chasing this black guy down an alleyway, and many people for some completely dumbass reason thought this might have been CJ from San Andreas making a return, solely because the guy's black and wearing a white vest, even though all you have to do is look at CJ once and you can see it clearly isn't him. One, CJ wears blue jeans and black sneakers, not black trousers and whatever the hell these shoes are supposed to be, and CJ isn't tatted up either. But yeah, quite a few people got memed on for saying that this was CJ and he was returning. People who are going frame by frame on the trailer also noted there was another recurring character in the red car. You can see him twice. Of course we know this is Franklin now, but the two scenes he appears in are the one with the woman crossing the road where he's clearly seen, and the other one is with the police car chasing him. It's harder to see in the second one, but if you go frame by frame you can clearly see him. It did get people wondering on who this guy was. Some people thought this might have been another main character, possibly a side character who we'd have missions with, given how he doesn't really speak at all in this trailer and this Albert guy was more the main focus instead. So there's a very brief scene of a guy hammering a for sale sign on his home, and while many GTA 6 nutters look at anything as a hint to GTA 6's announcement, people were doing the exact same here. On the pavement you see 2405. So people took that as a hint that the release was dropping on the 24th of May 2012. Even though once again, looking pretty much at the first trailer, they never put an announcement date at all. This rumour pretty much died out by itself when the date came closer and closer. No news was being dropped about when it was being released, the 24th of May had passed, and it fizzled out and became a bit of a meme. Now this is going to be the shortest part because of how brief these things are featured in the trailer, but it still got people theorising anyway. Golf being played led many to assume that Golf from Vice City Stories and Ballad of Gay Tony would be returning, and was even the butt of many memes calling the GTA 5 the retirement simulator, given Albert said something about retiring just as that scene came up. The plane flying over the workers and possibly gassing them also hinted the planes would finally become flyable again since they weren't in GTA 4. Speaking of that as well, for about 1 single second there's a really fast plane being flown, which if you kind of go frame by frame or pause at the right time, it does look a lot like the Hydra, which is an iconic vehicle from GTA San Andreas again, which got people excited that we would be seeing the San Andreas vehicle diversity returning again. The scene straight after this one you see a bloke getting shoved out of Tequila La, and since GTA 4 Ballad of Gay Tony had nightclubs Luis could visit, dance and do other activities in, this was thought of confirming that we'd have nightclubs to visit again. And finally, in that scene with the guy hammering down the for sale sign, it enticed the theory that maybe Bible safe houses were returning again. They only did really appear in GTA San Andreas. Pretty much every other GTA before and after that one had safe houses gradually be unlocked during the story. Bible housing would make traversing the map much easier and so on. So yeah, that was just a bit of a retrospective look back at some of the theories that people were throwing around about GTA 5 back in 2011. There's probably a couple I missed because with how hyped up people were for GTA 5 back then, there are probably a load of theories that have just completely lost to time or became completely obscure. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, let's see how correct or incorrect people are with GTA 6. So thank you for watching and have a great day.